Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of NXT. And tonight we have ourselves a good one. A lot of stuff to address from top to bottom. And we are going to kick us off with Wesley, the former Mr. Money in the Bank for NXT, making his way down to the ring, looking to pick up a win tonight over Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller looking to pick up a win. And if you guys remember last week, we heard from Bron Breakker, United Kingdom champion. And he told Grayson Waller straight up, you know what? You'll be in action next week. Good for you, but you know what? You're going to have to win your next matchup to get that opportunity at NXT TakeOver Great American Bash. So tonight, Grayson Waller needs to defeat Wesley to make it official. If not, Grayson Waller will not get his matchup at NXT TakeOver. And that is just 3 weeks away, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be coming up very, very soon. A lot of matches we're going to be hearing about, kind of already know about as well, including tonight we'll be having a number one contenders matchup in the women's tag team division. We'll talk more about that, as well as later on tonight we're going to hear from Cora, Jade, the new NXT Women's Champion, to address the NXT Women's Championship as well. So much to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. We had a great episode last week. We saw new NXT Tag Team Champions crowned, the Blackpool Combat Club, Bryan, Danielson, and Jon Moxley. One hell of a matchup there. We saw Doudrop become the new Miss Money in the Bank. Like I mentioned before, Cora Jade, she is a new NXT Women's Champion, knocking off her tag team partner Roxanne Perez. As well as Bron Breakker was in action. And as well as we saw the NXT Tag Team Tournament. And we'll be addressing more even about the trade that occurred from Raw with Raw and NXT. 4 big-time superstars are joining the NXT roster. And it's just incredible how much more NXT is getting stacked right now. As the referee rings that bell, here we go. 4 major players that were on Monday Night Raw joining the NXT roster. And we won't know what Monday Night Raw will be getting in return until a future date. So it's going to be very interesting to see what this future is going to hold for Raw and NXT. Kind of see who won the trade. Because it's one of those trades when you think about it at the end of the day. It's like, oh, hey, you know, is it worth it? But for Shawn Michaels, he thought it was worth it. So officially coming over to NXT, you got Samoa Joe, Sting, Cesaro, and Keith Lee all making their way to NXT. So massive names, nobody that you think, oh, you know, it's barely ever going to see. Big time players, major players for sure. That's Wesley off the rope after that snapper, big boot to the face of Grayson Waller. Now for Grayson Waller, he gets a win tonight. He gets himself a championship matchup against Bron Breakker in just 3 weeks' time for that United Kingdom Championship. That's Wesley taking some time to try to get the crowd behind him. Oh, but taking too much time in that basement dropkick right there. It's not going to be feeling too good, and like that, Grayson Waller once again thrown out to the outside. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, like we mentioned, we have the number one contenders tag team women's matchup, as well as Cora Jade, your NXT Women's Champion, is in action. And she's in action against Sonya Deville. That should be one heck of a matchup. Another matchup I'm really looking forward to, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be Kenny Omega taking on Tyler Bate. 2 guys that are going to out-wrestle each other, outwork each other. And I'm very interested to see how that wrestling bout goes, as well as also, ladies and gentlemen, Christian Cage is back, and so is Rusev. And we will see both of those guys later on tonight. Actually, after this very matchup, as Christian Cage will be in action, and we'll have to see who his opponent is later on tonight. But a lot of big things coming up tonight. A lot of major surprises, signings, and all that fun stuff. So we'll see how the future of NXT will be shaping up as we get closer and closer to the Great American Bash. Like I mentioned, just 3 weeks away. It's going to be a amazing pay-per-view. Amazing championships on the line, etc., etc. It's gonna be an amazing night. As Wesley with that pinfall, trying to make sure Grayson Waller doesn't even make it to a Great American Bash, but Grayson Waller gonna go fighting until the very, very end. It's a clubbing forearm strike Muchly needed there for Grayson Waller. Oh, big haymaker there. And now look at that. On somersault on Prettier there out of nowhere. Oh. Imagine if Christian could do that type of maneuver. That was hella good, man. That's Grayson Waller. Oh, look at that stunner. Beautiful maneuver there from Grayson Waller. Will that be enough to put away Wesley? And it is. A couple weeks ago, we saw the one that he did from the outside, but very effective from inside the ring. And Grayson Waller is officially making his way to NXT TakeOver, officially challenging for that NXT United Kingdom Championship. To the best young and up-and-coming superstars battle. They are going to war officially at TakeOver. How do you think Grayson Waller is going to do? It's going to be one tough bout, but I guarantee you this, it is going to be a show stealer for sure for the NXT roster. Being called the NXT Women's Champion is something I've always wanted. Being a tag team champion was just step one. Step two is what happened last week when I beat my tag team partner Roxanne. Roxanne and I bring out the best in each other, and that is why I want to defend my championship against Roxanne at the Great American Bash in just 3 weeks' time. Roxanne will always be a sister to me, no matter what. And her being my tag team partner only makes it better. And that's why I want her to get her rematch fair and square at the Great American Bash. And I couldn't think of a better person than Roxanne. We've gone through our ups and downs as a tag team, former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, and now we're going to battle for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our next bout, and this match is going to be Cesaro making his way down the ring, making his NXT debut tonight. Live here in Universe Mode after being traded from Monday Night Raw over to NXT. Like we mentioned earlier on tonight, there's a massive trade from Raw and NXT, and Cesaro making his way down to the ring. And it's very interesting that he has the Blackpool Combat Club attire. We know that Cesaro, Jon Moxley, and Bryan Danielson go way back in the terms of, being good friends and everything like that. But, does that mean maybe Cesaro is going to end up joining the Blackpool Combat Club? That'd be a very interesting combination. Have Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and a technical wrestler like Cesaro that can bring that strength, power, that athleticism to that group. That's a big possibility. Or it could be nothing. You never know. But Cesaro will be taking on the return of Christian. Christian and Rusev have not been around for a little bit, but now Christian making his way back to NXT. Like I mentioned, the first time we have seen him back in a while. Last time we saw him was the latest NXT TakeOver where he lost to Jon Moxley. Christian, walking into that pay-per-view, was the NXT North American Champion, but Moxley was able to defeat Christian Cage and become the new North American Champion. So we'll have to wait and see what the mindset of Christian and Rusev is going to be. Christian has done nothing bad in the terms of, I guess you can't say nothing bad because of, Christian and Rusev have done a lot of underhanded stuff. But in the terms of outworking everyone, worked everyone, that's what Christian does. He puts it in like any other young talent. Obviously, Christian, one of the veterans here in WWE, but just what he brings to the table, honestly, is just one of the best things you'd love to see as we get ready for this one-on-one bout here. Referee rings that bell. Here we go. Cesaro and Christian Cage for the first time ever here in Universe Mode. And, last time we saw Cesaro was in a tag team with Dominik Dijakovic, but with that big trade, Cesaro going to Monday Night Raw. Obviously, Dominik Dijakovic will be going singles direction as Cesaro misses that frog splash from halfway across the ring there. That's beautiful snap suplex there from Christian. I don't know, look at Christian. He's feeling himself. Cesaro trying to go for a clothesline, but Christian was able to duck down just in time to get himself out of the way. But like we mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially 3 weeks away from the NXT North American Championship being defended by Jon Moxley. The question is, who will Jon Moxley defend his championship up against? Because he's already going to have to, be in a tag team match for the NXT North American, or the NXT Tag Team Championships, pardon me, because we do got some breaking news for you, ladies and gentlemen, coming from the office of Bret the Hitman Hart. We are going to see the Blackpool Combat Club, Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. They will be defending their tag team championships against the Creed brothers, who they defeated last week. Bret Hart loved the tag team match that we saw last week and has decided that he wants to see those two tag teams go to war one more time, and that being at the Great American Bash. And I honestly don't mind it. Two of the best tag teams that we have here in NXT going to war. They had a hell of a matchup at NXT TakeOver. Might as well do it again. I love it. And Cesaro, after that gut-wrench suplex, I was hoping it was going to be enough, but Christian able to kick out right away. Oh, big knee to the midsection there. We'll see if Christian can capitalize, but no. Cesaro going back and forth here. We go off the ropes. Oh, big knee to the ribs, man. Oh. But look at Christian, the veteran, rolling out of the ring, kind of baiting Cesaro to come out of the ring. Just like that. Look at Cesaro. He's one hell of a superstar, man. I've said it before when he's on Raw, whatever brand he's ever been on, I've said Cesaro is a world champion type of talent, and I don't know when that is going to happen down the road, if it'll be anytime soon, but Cesaro is a world champion athlete, man, and I think he will, one day become world champion of whatever brand he may be. It's Cesaro getting his arm just ripped apart here at ringside. Oh my goodness, Christian just trying to put Cesaro in his place here. Cesaro's a multi-time champion here, tag team champion here in WWE with Sheamus. As now Cesaro's coming back in the ring. Both men face to face there briefly. And oh, look at this. Look at Cesaro making this look oh so easy. Throwing him around like a paperweight. Is that enough? No. Christian able to kick out at 2. Ooh, big elbow to the temple there. Now Christian in trouble. Cesaro going to go high risk here. Is it going to be worth it? Frog splash there to the ribs. Can Cesaro pick up a massive win tonight? 2. No. Christian able to kick out at 2.5. So, and now this is where, if you're Cesaro, you cannot get frustrated. Oh, looks like he's going to go for a neutralizer. We have not seen that in forever. Cesaro with a neutralizer. Is that going to be all she wrote now? 2. No, Christian kicks out again. And look at Cesaro. The frustration's there for sure. And yeah, there he is. He's talking some trash to Christian, saying, hey, stay down. Oh, big punch there from Christian. Can he turn this match around? He needs to at this very moment. He has him on the ropes. For Christian, I mean, I'd try to hit some big-time maneuvers right now because, Cesaro right now could be one big move away from putting this match away. Christian trying to fire himself up, and more than likely he needs to. Oh, look at this. Look at this gut-wrench suplex. Beautiful maneuver there from Cesaro. And I don't think Christian's going to know where he's at, honestly. And now I'm just going to drop him on that top rope, but going to hit him with the reverse DDT. Christian, I pop a unpretty or a frog splash or something, maybe a spear out of nowhere or something. Oh, and this is what I'm talking about. Christian with the unprettier. Takes down Cesaro. Can he still win here? 2, 3. Yes, he does. Christian Cage with a win over the debut of Cesaro here in NXT. What a matchup for the return of Christian after being away for almost a month. You got Cesaro coming from Raw, but a big win for Christian here tonight. And now Christian, while celebrating here, is requesting a microphone. What is going to be on the mind of Christian? It doesn't matter what obstacle is in my way. It doesn't matter what superstar you trade for. It does not matter. I will outwork them. I will out-wrestle them. I will out-wrestle, outwit them, out everything, any superstar in my way. Yes, it's taken me some time to reflect after losing my NXT North American Championship to Jon Moxley. But the thing is, I'm not done yet. My tank is full, and I'm going to get my rematch at NXT TakeOver Great American Bash. So Moxley, get your ass out here and accept my proposition. Being gone almost a month, Christian, and you're already barking out orders? I don't think it works that way, Christian. I mean, I will give you props that you put up one hell of a match up against Cesaro. And by the way, Cesaro is actually our newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club, so big ups to you to beating Cesaro. I'll give you props for that. You know what, Christian? Screw it. You know, man, I'm not a type of man to decline any offers or back away from a challenge. So you know what? You'll get your rematch at the Great American Bash, Christian. And you know what? I'll even do one better for you. I'll even let you pick the stipulation for our matchup at TakeOver. Any stipulation I want. Moxley, you are definitely stupid as you look. And I definitely, with the number of Extreme Rules matches you've had over the years, I think you've lost a couple brain cells. But you know what? That's going to work in my favor because at NXT TakeOver Great American Bash, me and you go at it for that NXT North American Championship. But it is going to be in a TLC match. Huge news there between Jon Moxley and Christian Cage officially getting that rematch at NXT TakeOver Great American Bash. But Moxley is allowing Christian Cage to pick the stipulation for that match, and Christian has decided to make it a TLC matchup. That matchup is going to give the advantage to Christian. Obviously, we know the whole background of Christian, Edge, the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, starting up that TLC match type back in the day. So that's definitely going to favor Christian, but it doesn't mean that Moxley still can't retain that North American Championship. And Moxley, he's already going to have another matchup beforehand, and that's going to be for the NXT Tag Team Championships. So not only is he going to have to defend the Tag Team Championships, he's going to have to defend his NXT North American Championship against Christian in a TLC matchup. So very well, he could be walking out with all his championships, just one championship, no championships. It is going to be a career-defining night for Jon Moxley for sure. But Tyler Bate awaits his opponent, Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is still trying to find himself here in NXT in phenomenal shape. Definitely going to be world champion for sure. We even got that pyro for him, but Kenny Omega can definitely change everything here in NXT for sure. He did have that #1 contenders match a while back when he was facing off with MJF. MJF was able to defeat Kenny Omega that time, but you know, for Kenny Omega, he's even had some good matches with Rusev and whatnot as well. So you know, Kenny is a main event talent here in NXT. A lot for Kenny Omega to show us, and you know, there's big name superstars that will join certain brands and stuff, and you want those superstars to be get those big time championship opportunities right away. As referee rings the bell here, but just in terms of what Kenny Omega brings to the table, yes, he's a main event talent, huge pickup for Bret the Hitman Hart, and honestly, Bret has picked up Kenny Omega as a steal, honestly. And for Kenny Omega, just like I'm just mentioning in the terms of him not being able to be in the title picture right away, he's definitely got to earn it. He had opportunities to earn it, especially in that #1 contenders matchup against MJF a while back. But, you know, Kenny Omega definitely will get that opportunity relatively soon. And being in a matchup against Tyler Bate will definitely kind of see where you're at, definitely. Because Tyler Bate, one of the best around here in NXT. Maybe not one of the best win-loss records here in NXT, but just what Tyler Bate brings to the table, it's absolutely phenomenal. What we see is Tyler Bate being taken to the shed outside here by Kenny Omega currently. Kenny Omega too sweet in the crowd, but he eats a beautiful maneuver there, just that rolling kick to the back of the head. There's been a lot of times where Tyler Bates tried to do that multiple times in a matchup, and it just would come back to eat him, as now you get a sleeper hold here out of nowhere to Tyler Bate. Imagine if Tyler Bate will have to fall asleep here, as no stunner stunning Kenny Omega at the very second. We'll see if Tyler Bate can somehow get himself back in the matchup, and he does. Tyler Bate, a two-time NXT United Kingdom champion. He's definitely had those big-time moments for sure. And the funny thing is, when he's won the championships, they have been in open challenges. So we'll see if, you know, Tyler Bate will be able to maybe necessarily not have to do it in open challenges and actually win it after winning a bunch of matches. Winning championships is all good and stuff, but I don't know, as long as you win it, I guess it is, you win a championship. But a lot of superstars do it as a different way. As, wait a minute, Kenny Omega, after being busted open a couple minutes ago, we'll see how that cut above that right eye is going to be faring him after that brutal neck breaker. Look at that, right above the eye, ladies and gentlemen. As long as it doesn't go up in his actual eye, he should be A-okay. As, Kenny Omega. Ooh. Beautiful maneuver from Omega. Is that it? Yes, it is. Kenny Omega with an impressive win over Tyler Bate tonight. Look at this right there, that knee to the back of the skull. It wasn't enough at that time, but look at this. Down he goes, almost like a different inverted Michinoku driver. And Kenny Omega picks up a big win tonight. How long do you guys think it will be until Kenny Omega becomes world champion here in NXT? Time will tell for this man, but for me, I cannot wait. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell's going on here? We're hearing some music here. I wasn't told about anything after a matchup. We were supposed to get... Wait, that's Adam Cole. He was there on Monday Night Raw at one time. He's a Royal Rumble winner. Went on to WrestleMania, became WWE champion. Had a heck of a opportunity, especially going to WrestleMania and winning that. But why in the hell is Adam Cole here? He got drafted over to SmackDown, was WWE champion, ended up getting cashed in on by Apollo Crews. And Adam Cole would never really get his opportunity in a rematch, you could say, because Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong took him out. But Adam Cole is here on NXT. Obviously, Adam Cole is a former NXT champion, ladies and gentlemen. I believe a former NXT United Kingdom champion as well. But what is Adam Cole doing here in NXT? And what is he doing here after Kenny Omega's matchup? Big time question that I'm assuming we are about to find out next here live on NXT. Kenny Omega, it is so great to see you, man. And you're probably flabbergasted by seeing me, a SmackDown superstar, being here on NXT. Probably wondering why the hell I'm even here and what exactly my intentions are. It's quite simple. I got bought out of my contract. I talked to the SmackDown general manager, and we were able to work it out, and I was able to do that, and I was able to talk to Bret the Hitman Hart, and I'm officially here on the NXT roster. It's a huge loss for SmackDown, but a huge gain here in NXT. There's a lot of unfinished business I have here in NXT. I've done it all here in WWE, anything from NXT Champion, the winner of the Royal Rumble, going on to WrestleMania, main eventing WrestleMania, and becoming WWE Champion. But when I was here in NXT felt a lot different than Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown is out of control, especially with the Bloodline and a lot of other stuff going on. But after being screwed out of my WWE Championship after Apollo Crews cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase on me, then at Vengeance Day I was supposed to be in a fatal 5-way matchup, but I got attacked by O'Reilly and Strong. This is a major reason why I ended up leaving SmackDown to come here to NXT. But another major reason, Kenny, is you. We tore down the indie circuit so many years before I signed to NXT and then dominated Monday Night Raw, or I should say in WWE in general. And you tore up the scene there on the independents like I just mentioned. Now Kenny, I know you're main event talent, so am I. You're elite. I'm elite. And I believe if we joined up together we could honestly take over NXT. But question is, would you be interested in doing that? Listen, Adam, it is like you said, it's great to see you and everything. It's not something I was expecting, especially when I knew you were on SmackDown. But I don't know, I am just trying to get myself established here in NXT, and I haven't even got my boys situated here in NXT just yet. So I don't know, you got to give me some time to think about it. How about this, Adam? I will give you your answer at the Great American Bash pay-per-view. I'll give you a yes or no. I just need some time to think about it, consult with my boys. Like I mentioned, I haven't even got them going here on NXT as well. If you give me some time, I'll get back with you, and I promise you will get your answer at the Great American Bash in 3 weeks' time. Okay, Kenny, that's perfectly fine with me. But don't take too much longer, because I have huge plans for NXT. I've already ran roughshod through NXT. Yeah, that was with the Undisputed Era for the most part, but a lot of stuff I did by myself. So, either with you or without you, I'm taking over NXT. And it's starting off with the NXT Championship. We are back now, ladies and gentlemen. Sonya Deville should be in action in a non-title matchup. Sonya Deville takes on Cora Jade. Cora Jade, this will be your first tough test. Even though this is a non-title matchup, this would be a hell of a matchup for Cora Jade. Sonya Deville has been all over the main roster before getting back here to NXT. Especially her and Doudrop, a tag team, former NXT, or not former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, but former main roster Women's Tag Team Champions before coming back to NXT. And for Sonya Deville and Doudrop, I definitely could see them being a big factor in this NXT Women's Tag Team division. So currently, the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships are held by Nikita Lyons and obviously Zoe Stark. So we'll see if Sonya Deville and Doudrop plan on making a big presence in the tag team division here. But here's your NXT Women's Champion, ladies and gentlemen. Last week knocking off her tag team partner, Roxanne. And Cora Jade is giving her first title defense to Roxanne Perez in just 3 weeks' time. Two tag team partners are going to go at it one more time. We'll see how they fare. You can definitely feel the tension is there. And it's just competitiveness in both women. Cora Jade's telling saying about Roxanne that's basically she's a sister to her, a family member. And that they've, gone through some rough patches when they first were a tag team, but were able to figure it out for a little bit, became the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions there briefly. So, there's definitely a lot of potential in this rematch at the Great American Bash, but we'll see how Cora Jade deals with Sonya Deville tonight. As the referee rings the bell, here we go. Big time tag team match is on the way. Big haymakers. Sonya Deville going to work on Cora Jade here. And if you're Cora Jade, you've got to avoid the attacks of Sonya Deville. One of the most devastating strikers you're going to see in all professional wrestling. Now, Sonya Deville, snake eyes. Right there, right in the dome there of Cora Jade. And for Cora, you know, like I mentioned, the strikes are the thing you got to be on the lookout for, but just the technical wrestling, too, of Sonya Deville. Cora Jade getting a little cocky there with Sonya Deville, and that is not something you want to be doing at this point of the matchup so far. Maybe later down in the matchup if you're, you know, taking it to Sonya, but not yet. Now Cora Jade going to work on that, ooh, that left arm. Maybe you could set up a submission later on in the matchup, you never know. Now that ground and pound game of Sonya Deville coming into play here. If Roxanne's here, she's got to be definitely watching in the back, seeing how her tag team partner's doing, just to kind of see if she can one-up her in just 3 weeks' time, the Great American Bash. As now Sonya Deville in a bad way here. Bad spot. Oh, no. Deville, a big kick to the midsection. Ooh, jumping clothesline takes down the champion. Can Sonya Deville pick up a massive win? We know Dewdrop, she's missed Money in the Bank. Maybe she could cash in tonight. Imagine if we saw a cash in and a new champion. Sonya Deville could knock off Cora Jade, but Sonya Deville could loosen her up for Dewdrop. That's a big knee there from Cora Jade. See if he'll get her back in this matchup. Nope, Sonya Deville just way too fast. But no, as soon as I say that, Cora Jade. So this match is definitely heating up between both of these women. Beautiful dodge there from Cora Jade. And a big-time DDT from behind. It's back in the corner we go. Big knee strike right to the dome. Sonya Deville is in trouble. Cora Jade's all fired up here. Into the turnbuckle. Oh, look at this. Beautiful maneuver there. The Jade Walker there from Cora Jade. Has Sonya Deville down and out. But let's see if she puts her away. Oh, goodness. What a DDT, putting away Sonya Deville possibly. Cora Jade, I'm surprised she's not going to go for the pinfall here. And now Cora Jade just going to try to figure out what she wants to do to Sonya Deville at this moment. Just going to try to taunt her. Hopefully that won't come back to eat her in the behind. There's now Sonya Deville trying to fight back. You think with what Cora Jade did to Sonya Deville, she tried to go for the pinfall, but I think she realizes that Sonya Deville's going to take a little bit more to do to her. And oh, look at this submission hold. Big time submission hold here from Cora Jade. So Sonya Deville may have to tap out. But ooh, look at Sonya able to sneak out of that. Question is, how much more can she take of it, though? She's eaten a lot of damage so far. Arm toss takedown into a drop kick. Innovative maneuver there from Cora Jade. Will this be enough? 2. No, strong kick out at 2. NXT Women's Champion looking pretty good these last couple moments here. She's got to keep it up, though. Can't be like a one and done type of situation. And for Cora Jade to be nice enough to her tag team partner and give her that first title defense at NXT TakeOver Great American Bash, I think it's a phenomenal proposition there, and it's official that we're going to see that matchup as Cora Jade picks up a win over Sonya Deville. Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez. It'll be one heck of a matchup. As look at this big time maneuver from the top rope, making it look oh so easy. Takes down Sonya Deville, but Cora Jade, ladies and gentlemen, picks up a big massive win. It's the generation of Jade here live on NXT. Oh, wait a minute. Backstage here, we're seeing Gigi Dolan attacking Katana Chance here. Just before this #1 contenders matchup. And I don't even think Katana Chance might be able to even make it out to their matchup as Gigi Dolan. Oh, just going to stretch her out. Oh my goodness. The GG driver right there to Katana Chance backstage here. Kayden Carter looking towards the interview area. And look at JC Jane. JC Jane from behind. And this looks like this was a premeditated assault against these up-and-coming Katana Chance and Kayden Carter. You'd hate to see this. You got to think that Toxic Attraction definitely saw these two as a major threat. What you hate to see as a big boot there from JC Jane as they lay waste to Katana Chance and Kayden Carter. Well, it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, we are not going to be able to get our number one contenders matchup in the women's tag team division between Toxic Attraction and the team of Katana Chance and Kayden Carter. Hopefully next week we may get that, but I don't know where that's going to go. Toxic Attraction make an example of that up-and-coming tag team. But now we focus on your main event. One half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, Bryan Danielson, taking on Chris Jericho, who is the number one contender to the NXT Championship. Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley had one heck of a night last week on NXT. They were one of 4 tag teams, all battling to become NXT Tag Team Champions after the grizzled young veterans, who we don't know when for sure they'll be back, had to relinquish their NXT Tag Team Championships. So you had the team of Shanky and Veer take on Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. Then you had the Creed brothers as well. They were in action. Pardon me, they were in action last week. So it's Creed brothers against Shanky and Sheer. Sorry about that. As well as we saw Blackpool Combat Club take on the team of Drew Gulak and Madcap Moss. Eventually we got the Creed brothers and the Blackpool Combat Club in the main event. And, well, we saw who won the Blackpool Combat Club coming out as the NXT Tag Team Champions. But for the Creed brothers to get another opportunity, man. Perfect opportunity at the Great American Bash. And for Moxley, he's going to have 2 championship matches. I'll be very impressed if Moxley walks out with both championships, because he's not only going to have the Tag Team Championship, he's going to have a TLC Championship defense in that North American Championship matchup against Christian Cage. So it's going to be one crazy thing after another, honestly. But, you know, for Chris Jericho, CM Punk, you're going to have the battle of the best. CM Punk calls him the best in the world. And Chris Jericho, he definitely thinks highly of himself. But we got to have a winner. We got to have a loser at the Great American Bash. And we are all going to get it there once and for all. Both men technically sound in the wrestling ring. Very terrific in the terms of submission and technical wrestling. So anything is possible. As here comes a main event of the ages between Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho. Will we see someone tap out, or will one of these superstars be able to incapacitate their opponent enough to get that pinfall tonight? Could see anything from that running knee or that spinning back elbow to the face that Chris Jericho likes to use from time to time now. Anything is possible. As Bryan Danielson trying to make sure Jericho doesn't try to go for a springboard. And I think, you know, there's different strategies in this matchup. You got a man like Bryan Danielson that definitely moves around the ring a lot faster than Jericho, but Jericho, he can still hold his own. It is very well possible Jericho walks out with the NXT Championship in 3 weeks' time. So Jericho, is he thinking about the Three Amigos here? To the late great Eddie Guerrero? Yes, he does. Three amigos there from Jericho. You absolutely got to love it in terms of, you know, Eddie Guerrero tribute, at least, even if we may not respect Jericho with what he's done ever since coming back here to NXT. As, going for the underhook backbreaker. Oh my goodness. That is going to be loosening up Bryan Danielson for later on in the matchup for when Jericho may possibly go for those walls of Jericho. And Jericho, oh, wait a minute, over the top rope. Not letting Bryan Danielson recuperate whatsoever. It's good on Jericho there. Got to stay on your opponent here. Trying to rip that right arm out of socket. Is Jericho going to try to get himself back in the ring? All the offensive going in the corner of Jericho so far for the most part. Of Bryan trying to fight back, and he does. That running shoulder tackle right to that knee. That is definitely not going to be feeling too good for Jericho. And it could loosen up Bryan Danielson to go for that one-legged submission that he does like to pull out of his repertoire from time to time. Oh, nice enziguri to the side of the skull. Bryan Danielson, he's firing it up right now. And he showcased his skills a bunch in that tag team wrestling match. Both tag team wrestling matches that we saw last week. Over Drew Gulak and Madcap Moss, and definitely over the Creed brothers. Code breaker out of nowhere. Is that enough? No. Bryan Danielson able to kick out. Big cut on the right side of the eye. And now Jericho spinning. Elbow misses, and Bryan Danielson able to capitalize. We'll see if that maneuver will come back to bite Jericho. Could have maybe went for the walls of Jericho of sorts, but did not want to do it. As now Bryan, it seems like he's trying to maybe bust open Jericho because he's going to the well a couple times here. So he has him in the corner now. Bryan, going for a chop, but Jericho saw that coming. Go to the well too many times. Is Jericho able to connect with that springboard back elbow there? This matchup has been getting high-paced here these last couple moments here. And Jericho now just trying to tell this crowd to drink it in, man. As, Jericho head first off that. And the running knee. The running knee out of nowhere from Bryan. Is that enough? 2, 3 it is. Jericho cost himself that victory. And Bryan Danielson, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, picks up a win right here. That running knee strike after Jericho was taunting the crowd. That running knee out of nowhere puts down the #1 contender. And it is a great way to end NXT tonight. Bryan Danielson on top, defeating Chris Jericho. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's already been a hectic night, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.